Call meeting order at 6 p.m. Our first item of business is an executive session. Is somebody like to make that motion?
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, do you have it? Okay.
You have a packet, right?
Yeah, I have it. I move to find that premature public knowledge would clearly place the public body or person involved at a substantial disadvantage.
So can I have a second to that?
Second.
So we have a motion by Meredith and second by Dwight. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Appears to be unanimous decision in the affirmative. It is. Second motion.
I move to enter executive session to discuss contract negotiations under 1 VSA 313-1A.
Do I have a second to that, Dwight?
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion by Meredith and a second by Dwight. And there's no discussion. Hi, Kate. We're on the second executive session motion.
All good. Sounds great.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Bye.
Appears to be another unanimous decision in the affirmative. So if you want to put everybody in the waiting room. So we got done a little quicker than we thought. So I think if it's okay with folks, we'll jump ahead to, we'll go to members of the public and members of the staff. Again, you have to give your name and your affiliations. You get 4 minutes to speak. Action may not be taken, and written correspondence is always better so that we have what everybody's talking about. Somebody just stuck their hand in my face. So we'll run around the room real quick. I see Tracy, Alan Block, you're first on the list for public.
I have no prepared remarks, sir.
No prepared remarks. That's cool. Thank you, sir. And teacher, Bridget teacher. Dana. How are you, Dana?
Good, sir. Thank you very much. I have nothing this evening.
Okay, thank you. Now everybody moves when they answer.
You're right.
Francesca. Kendra? Kendra.
Nothing here.
Okay, thank you. And Rebecca? Not sure who that is. Do you know who Rebecca is?
I think it's Becky McGrath. Right?
Rebecca, can you tell us your last name just so we have you on the
I
agenda,
know who it is.
please? Maybe? Rebecca?
I know who it is.
You sure?
Pretty sure.
Yeah, let's just make it Rebecca until they respond. Okay, I guess we're good with the public, and I'll run down staff. Anne Marie Scott?
I'm all set, thank you.
Thank you. People moving in. Bridget?
All set, thank you.
Thank you, Bridget. And I think, is that it? Yeah. Okay, if we have anybody new come in, just if you guys can just let me know, we'll hit them up. Let's, while we're waiting for the stormwater folks, let's just jump down the survey and IB committee, next steps and an update. So, yes.
Yeah, so the committee's been out there for a little bit. I think we're gonna wrap it up.
Survey.
The survey, I'm sorry. Yeah, thinking committee.
Yeah.
Survey's out there. I think we're ready to wrap it up at the end of the week. So I mean, I can, with the board's permission, we'll have Renee schedule the next committee meeting and they can start to unpack the data and continue their work.
But you've been pretty good response.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say it was like 38, 39 responses total so far.
So that's not bad.
So yeah, that's.
How many groups of parents are there? Because in this building you have 80-something students.
Yeah, I mean, we sent it to both sets of families in Wardsboro as well, which maybe they're less inclined to fill it out. I don't know, but I mean, you would think there'd be 70 or 80
Okay.
families probably.
So that's not that bad because it's a good percentage.
Yeah, and you get staff and you maybe have some community members as well. So.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So then you'll get a committee together and sometime in December we can hear what the survey results were.
Yeah, we'll have them Well, just to try and clarify for Renee, so the committee had an original charge. And
So we covered half of it. We did the pause.
so the next part of it was, I'm not even sure if that was half, but that was the beginning of it. But yeah, the rest of it was to do the sort of the clinical analysis of the thing and then report
To the
the
board.
analysis, not any
Right.
conclusions.
Right.
Was there a timeline that you want that reported back to you by?
Well, we really want to be able to talk about it at the annual meeting in April,
Okay. So,
May. So
I mean, in fairness, because you also, it may or may not have budget implications, if like January, February-ish
well,
was a good
I
target?
think I'd love to hear something if they could in December, at least what the survey looked like and what they think their next steps are.
All right.
Because we got to put a budget together. We'll have to approve a budget by the beginning of February. So if we don't,
But the survey results are only one part of it,
right,
right?
that's what I'm saying, is if in December, we can at least hear what those results are and where the board or where the group is gonna go for their next
Next steps
steps.
for the committee, okay.
It would make a lot of sense.
All right, I will talk to Renee and get that going.
Cool. Oh, did some more people come in?
No.
Oh,
And just a reminder, Greg said he could join us for the water part, so I'm just gonna text him, let him know it's a little sooner than,
well, as soon as they come in, we can jump on that.
but you have someone else coming in?
Yeah, we have the lady from the,
Oh, okay.
6:30.
And Bob, they were planning to come in at 6:30 or so,
Okay,
based on our agenda.
all right.
so we're gonna just bump over that for a minute and Act 73 update Dwight. Kind of an interesting map they decided
Yeah.
on, wasn't it?
If you want to call it that. Yeah, so this might be quick too. So the redistricting task force met last Monday, and that meeting was designed to put forward a couple of maps and for the committee to vote on those maps. We talked about that here at the last meeting, and so what happened was they didn't quite do what they were asked to do. So what ended up happening was they reviewed two maps, or two proposals, I should say. One was a CTE map, which we discussed at the last meeting, which basically divided the state up into, I think it was 14 different districts. And that, as we mentioned at the last meeting, that had supervisory unions, had SDs. The districts were basically in the 4,000 range, but a couple were much larger, and one or two may have been a little smaller. So it didn't quite meet what what they were designed to talk about, the specifications they were designed to do, but it came close. And the task force voted that down. They decided not to move that one forward. And then there was another proposal, which we didn't talk about at the last meeting, but it really isn't quite a map. Basically, there were a couple of or two or three. Who was on that? That group was Holcomb.
Jay Adams and Rebecca Jen Bochanis.
Yeah. So three of the task force members put forth a very comprehensive 170-page proposal of how the state should move forward with education in Vermont. And essentially, it's a 10-year plan to have voluntary mergers, and those mergers will be incentivized, essentially, to combine and then get funding for capital to build new schools. And it's a design to kind of redesign the state, if you will, the education districts in a way that's voluntary, that allows local public to engage in that, and also based on BOCES model as well, with shared services for the BOCES model for that as well. So it was really just what they like to call a roadmap on how to move forward. I will say that the Secretary of Education was at the meeting, and she was none too pleased, as you like to say. none too pleased, because it didn't meet the criteria that the legislature had put forward. But I give them a lot of credit. I'm just trying to explain what happened. I think they realized in meeting with the public and all the public feedback that these larger districts were not popular at all, and that they decided to move it in a different direction. And they did that with a very comprehensive plan. And so that was voted and approved to send back to the legislature. However, there will be one more meeting just to kind of either tweak it or just to, I'm not sure exactly what they're going to be doing at the next meeting, but they'll maybe discuss a little further if they can make some
Let's
changes.
finish the report, right?
We finish the report? Okay.
I think they'll review it.
They'll review it a little bit more. So yeah, they'll review it a little more, and then that's the plan is to go back and send it back. And I don't know, I have no crystal ball what the legislature will do with that. It certainly doesn't meet. It's not going to make it easy for them because it's not a map. And so for us, hurry up and wait. We're in a holding pattern, and I think that's where we are. Anybody?
But
any questions?
again, remember, the legislature it was up to 3 maps, one had included supervised union model.
Yeah.
And then the legislature could accept any of them or accept none or make their own or do nothing or,
Right.
you know, so.
Right, it is possible
We're
that
kinda right
yeah, they could create their own map. I would be really shocked if that were to happen because really there was no framework put forward that they could use for a map. So I don't know if that means Act 73 is. Yeah, so I mean this was billed. Just everyone realize the task force and the maps were billed as kind of a possible off ramp. In other words, if they can't agree on a map, then it kind of stalls. The bill stalls right there, and that kind of appears where we're headed. If I had a guess.
I would say add to that just the battle will now be between the administration and the legislative leaders.
Yeah.
See where that goes.
Right. Whether or not they want to move in a different direction, or if this actually Act 73 is no longer viable because they don't actually have maps to redesign. The one thing I found very interesting from some of the people on the task force, they didn't like the idea of forced mergers, which I found very odd because that's what they were on the task force to do, was to create mergers of districts. But they didn't like the idea of that at all. Maybe they could also argue they didn't like it once they heard from the public because the public was so opposed to it. So I would understand that.
I think there's very little
Yeah.
and where people ever positive, even where districts weren't going to be changed that
Yeah,
much.
there was so little positivity. I can understand why they came up with this, and I think it's good. I think it's something that makes a whole lot of sense to have things that we talked about in this here and all over the state was talked about having more local input and how we merge things and how we design our districts, and I think that's what they heard the task force, and that's what they put forward. What do you think, Bob?
I think you nailed it.
Thank you. That's all I got. Any questions or anybody?
You guys all set here? Meredith, you good?
Are we gonna look to see if either the legislators can come and talk to us like we spoke about before?
I think if it's something you want to do, I don't know if there's no, maybe we'll wait till next meeting. Maybe we'll
I think
wait.
like the more we tell them what we want, the
Yeah.
better for us.
I think they listened. I really do. They kept saying over and over, no one liked this. So they listened to us, and even the CTE map, they said they listened to those people who wanted to remain in SUs, and we were in an SU, so they heard us, I guess. So it'd be tough to have the legislate. I mean, it would be always good to know if this is taken up again in session next, when the session gets back in January.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how valuable it would be unless this. What do you think, Rich? I don't know. I don't know how valuable that would be.
Can you hold on to that thought for a minute?
Sure.
Okay. Hang on a sec.
Sure.
Eli or Kate, do you have anything?
I agree with what Meredith's saying, that maybe it would be really good if they don't come to a meeting, that we make we make it very clear to our representatives in Montpelier how our district felt and feels currently, to make sure that they are listening to the voices that we've put forth.
Okay. Eli?
No, I guess I just kind of agree with everybody else. I did receive an email of something about it that sounded like they were doing away with choice, and I was just curious if has been a ruling on that.
No, there was the report that Dwight was talking about, talked a lot about choice, but it doesn't take it away, but it's a really, really good article to read, and it's got a lot of good information in it. Not good article, it's a good report, I thought. So it's definitely well worth reading it. Did we send it to everybody, Bob? Did everybody get a copy of that? Pardon? You didn't?
No.
Report
Okay.
from what was what are you referring
The
to?
Holcomb report. The one you were just talking
Oh,
about.
this. Yeah, I mean, I got it. I got all that.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's really thick. I'd love to send that out to everybody.
I mean, there is aspects of choice within it,
Right.
talking about that. So that's good to, and
You
they
have
do reference our district and also
Specifically,
yeah,
Wyndham Southwest
right.
and Wyndham Central, and it talks about losing, like Leland and Gray and Twin Valley would create an educational desert. And so I think it was really good. And then they also said that there's some other areas in the state that really need to be looked at too, because it could really affect how things come out. There was some discussion, and there's a few other things that we could maybe talk about with them is, could we allow in a district, like a unified district, could there be different structures in the district? And one of the things that happened when we tried to combine with Marlboro was a K-8, we were a K-6, and West River was pre-K, or K through 12. And so nobody was willing to give up their structure to combine. But if you could keep your structure, would we combine, and would that maybe make sense? So maybe like Marlboro and River Valley and West River could all combine with their pre-K through 5 or 6, and with West River having the 6 in the middle school creates some issues, but that would require legislative change. So I do agree it would be kind of good for us to maybe talk to our legislators. I don't know if they're going to come. We invited our senators to come to a Wyndham Central meeting, which has a lot more of their constituents. And they didn't show up. I know we would be able to get Laura here to come and talk to us, so maybe.
Well, yeah, and after this meeting, the ball will certainly
Right.
be back in their court.
Yeah.
So that's the time to talk.
So I would really like to see everybody look at that report. Bob will make sure he gets it out. There's some really interesting things in that, and there may be some requests that we can make as a
Have
district.
that in your email digitally.
What the
Report.
yeah.
Do you not have it, Bob? Or?
I mean, I can get it. I don't have it.
Oh, I have it. I'll send it
Download
to
it
you.
or anything, but I can find it on the website. But if he's got it, he can just
Yeah.
send it to me.
Okay. So, anyways, everybody look at that, and then I think.
Is it public? Is it
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. It's on the
on the redistricting?
redistricting website.
It's there. I only remember the two kind of. It said
This
it was
is-
a report from the two.
This is
but
the
I
abridged
know-
version. It was 2 pages, but the other one was 170 pages. like
Right.
The one you're referring to.
But a lot of it is addendums that you don't really have to read. I mean, I read it. It took me a couple hours, but I read it like 3 times because I couldn't quite. Some of it I couldn't grasp.
It's bad grief.
I mean, I didn't know why
I
they
read
were
it more than twice.
talking about driving by other buildings but it is there's a lot of interesting facts in there, and I think a lot of things that we could consider.
Yep.
And we may want to make a request of our legislators to maybe try to do something a little different. I did run a little over, and I saw that we have Katie here from
Carrie
our.
Garvey, Patrick LaGrange, and Marie Caduto have all
Yeah,
entered.
well, Carrie is the one I think we're looking for, and Marie for the stormwater thing. So I'm going to step aside, and Kate, I'm going to turn the meeting over to you to discuss very interesting stormwater stuff.
Excellent. Thank you, Rich. And then, Bob, did you want to let Greg know too that we're at that point in the agenda?
Yeah.
Okay. So we've talked about this for our last 2 meetings. And so we decided that it was probably best to invite Carrie, Marie, and Patrick to come to the meeting. That way we could have a conversation and talk about it all at once. And I think Bob's going to pull Greg in as well. And if everybody's been following the email chain that's been going around, pretty much we've just been asking some clarifying questions on what does the 30% design mean, what's out there for grant money for build and all of that. Because we also have to think, like, right now, Dover schools, they're really close to this margin of needing this. And if we add more impermeable structures, like if we added another parking lot, if we added a shed, if we added, an auditorium or anything down the road, we would need to do this. So this gives us an opportunity to look at doing this right now when there is some funding out there and available. So I'm going to invite, Carrie and her team to speak.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having us here. So I'm not sure how much everyone knows or how much you want me to get into things. Happy to do whatever works for the group.
I think we've talked about it for the last 2 meetings, but if you want to just give like a short synopsis of what brought it to this point, why Dover School was brought forward, and the benefits.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So my team at Watershed Consulting, we're an environmental consulting company, has been working on a stormwater master plan for the whole town of Dover for a little over a year now. And so what that means is it's a sort of a comprehensive look at the whole town, looking at potential areas to do some water quality improvements. And so we've done some initial work, doing some field visits and looking at these opportunities, and came up with a list of 18 potential projects in the town. And so one of those was the school. And as Kate mentioned, part of that is because it's a larger development in the town, but part of it is also related to some potential for the requirements for some future stormwater permits. So at this point, that hasn't been implemented in Dover yet. It has been in the Lake Champlain Basin in the state. So we have a good framework for what that looks like. And the school right now is just slightly below that threshold of 3 acres of impervious cover. But as Kate mentioned, if you do end up really adding anything, it would end up being over that trigger. So through this Stormwater Master Plan project, which is fully funded by a grant, we have the opportunity to do 3 designs to a conceptual level in the town. So that's known as a 30% engineering level. And that's a really good step in the engineering process. So usually you go from that 30% to a final design and then to an implementation phase. And because it's, again, not anything regulatory at this point, there are opportunities for additional funding to finish those design phases if we decide that the school is a good fit for this project. Yeah, so that's sort of the brief overview.
Thank you, Carrie. And I noticed that Greg joined, so I'd like to open it up to questions from Greg and the rest of the board at this point. So what are your thoughts, concerns? What would you like to learn more about, guys?
I guess I'll start, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Gary, I'm just curious where the funds come from. Where do the funds come for this project? Are they federal or state funds? Or?
Well, I can let Marie actually answer that since that's her side of things.
Hi, folks. I'm Marie Caduto. I'm the watershed planner for the southeastern part of Vermont for the Department of Environmental Conservation. And so what we're doing with these stormwater master plans, with any of the planning that we do, is we're gathering these projects to be implemented on the ground to improve water quality. And we have the state clean water fund that is set aside for these kind of improvement projects. So it's all state funding, and it's allotted. We have a certain amount every year that we can do everything from the planning of the projects and scoping them out to the design phases and then into the construction phase. So this is all state funded, and we're not expecting the school to provide any match funding or support funding for this. We try to focus these projects initially on public properties, which is why we've come to you. We like to invest in the communities that need the work done, and we prioritize schools. So if you're interested in getting this done, and it will enable you to do some other types of impervious surfaces going forward. And my caveat is always, we have funding now. We don't necessarily, it's a state budget. We never know if we're going to have funding going forward, in 5 years. Who knows what the legislative priorities are going to be. So I encourage you to take advantage of it while we got it. But just to answer your question, it is all state funding.
Thank you. I can follow up with that if it's okay. Because I'm sorry, we've asked you this question probably 3-4 times in different ways, but so the funding that what we've heard is 30% first, and then there's a 70%. And I'm guessing it's in stages. The first stage is the engineer report, and the second stage would be implementation of the report, if I understand that correctly. So can you just explain exactly what portion will be covered with that 30% and what the other 70% is?
In this case, 100% will be covered. So we would do 2 more grants. We've got this 30% grant. Carrie, you can confirm do we need the 30% grant, or do we already have that?
Yeah, so I think there might be a slight miscommunication with the 30%. So that doesn't, so it really just means like a conceptual engineering plan. So what that is it shows sort of what the practice would be, where it is, how the water goes in and out, shows that it's a feasible project. And then it goes to that final design phase, which should be the 100% engineering design, and then the implementation phase. So right now we have the funding under this Stormwater Master Plan project for that 30% design. And as Marie said, that's already funded by this grant under this project that we're working on. And again, no match funds or anything like that would be required. The next step, Marie can certainly help with that, but that would be just a separate grant for that final design phase.
So the reason we do this is because we want to make sure everyone is on the same page. So we do this initial design, give you an idea of what we're talking about, where we're going with this project and what it's going to do. And then, when you say, okay, we will move it to the next phase, which will be a partner organization will take on doing the granting for you. We have conservation districts and watershed partners, so you don't even have to do the administration of the grants unless you want to. Most people say no thank you. so we have partners who are willing to step in and do the grant writing and guide you through that next grant. And so we take the 30% design and develop that into, we do it in stages. We give them numbers because the engineers and our consultants know what that means. So we go to a 60% design, make sure everybody's okay. And then we do an almost complete design we call it a 90% design. And that's basically to give the other permitting programs, the stormwater program, if there's wetlands, if there's a river, all those guys need to review the plan and make sure it's okay. And it comports with all the laws and rules and requirements. And they provide the consultant with feedback and say, well, you have to tweak this over here, or you have to move that 30 feet to the left, so that we know as we go forward that the project is fully permittable. And then we finalize that as 100% design. All that is in that first grant or that next grant. And then once we have that, that provides us with the estimated costs of the construction of the project. And that's the next grant. So that goes to construction, and we fund that separately. So we've learned over time that things happen along the way, and what you agree to today, if it turns out that, you know, it doesn't work out or the project becomes infeasible, we don't want to invest a lot of money in a design or, you know, the implementation of a project that's not going to move forward. So we phase it in on these separate grants.
Thank you.
Any other board or Greg?
Oh, I have a question.
Go
I was
for it,
gonna, unless the board wants to go, I'll obviously let them go first. But what are we talking about, like, in terms of if we got the 30% grant, but then we had to then fund the 30 to 100%, like, what is that? What is the amount that would generally cost to go from A to B there on a design like that?
Oh, it varies. Carrie, you want to take that?
Very, very rough ballpark would be probably around $15,000. Again, very.
Yeah, no one's trying to get you hold you to anything. I'm just thinking so that the board kind of understands the value of what is kind of being offered to us at this point.
Yeah.
And then projects like this, like, I mean, you've seen kind of the Dover layout there and have like a rough thing. Like, what do you think that the installation of kind of what you're initially just kind of looking at and seeing, what do you think something like that? Is that like a $50,000 project? Is that a $100,000 project? Is
probably more like 100.
Okay. Just checking.
No, that's a good point to make.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this is also, this puts River Valleys in a good spot with the 3-acre rule, right? That is coming 2038. You have to have a design by 2038 and has to be installed by 2043 if you have more than 3 acres, and Dover School is real close. So having a design makes sense for the long term, right?
Absolutely. And like I said, we have the funding right now to do these clean water projects. We don't know where that's headed. Legislative priorities change year to year, so we never know. And, you know, what we would like from all of you is to say you're interested in moving this project forward, because we don't want to spend $15,000 of taxpayer money if you're going to sit on it till 2038, you know. So we would like you to move it forward as we go for that design.
Thank you, Marie. Any other questions or feedback from any other board members?
Yeah, if I may. Has anyone been here to see if we actually have a stormwater issue during rain? I know we're getting close to the 3-acre, but were we just picked because we're close to 3 acres? Does anyone know?
So there's a few different things that went into the selection of the site. One of which is, again, that 3-acre threshold. One of which is that it's a public site. And as Marie mentioned, that's a priority for these types of plans, so that we could try to, use this funding to help public entities, improve water quality. And then the other piece is that the school has, again, that larger amount of impervious cover. And not that there are necessarily drainage issues, but just with having that sort of development, just it ends up picking up sediment and phosphorus and then eventually transporting that to the riverways. So that's what we're really looking at here. Not so much that you know, if there's like ponding or something like that at the school, but really that just by virtue of being a developed site without some water quality treatment features in place, it really does, you know, pick up that sediment and that those nutrients and then carry it to the waterways, which is what we're looking at with this project. And that's sort of the impetus for that 3-acre regulation as well.
Gotcha, thank you. And I heard a wetland consultant would also, you know, be involved and come out. Is that, I've just seen job sites go downhill real quick, marking wetlands, and next thing you know, Bob's your uncle, we don't have baseball dugouts anymore. Or, you know, you have to be 50 feet away and have all these crazy setbacks.
No, that's a good question.
Is that something that will get flagged out so we can all take a look at it? And or do we have to commit prior to knowing, you know, where the wetlands are and whatnot?
Yeah, so the wetlands that would be looked at in relation to this project are really about this project and the location that would be proposed for it. It has nothing to do with whatever else, you know, is going on. So again, we haven't done the design yet, so I don't know exactly where any of the features are, but that's just a standard part of any of these practices and the development of the designs. So it's required that we go through sort of these natural resource screenings to make sure that we're actually improving things and, you know, not impacting any other important features like wetlands or rivers and river corridors and that sort of thing. So it's not looking at, you know, the school itself. It's really looking at what we're proposing to do with the practice that we'd be designing.
Gotcha. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mike. All right, so we've spent some time on this. We've heard a lot of things. Is there anything else people need to learn about before we go forward and make a decision?
Just one more question, I guess. So if the designs come in and you know, we have a plan and then, you know, we take a look at it and say, you know, let's move forward. Will you guys be with us during that process as well of implementing the plan if we go in that direction?
Yes.
Hi, Marie.
Yeah.
For me, it depends. It just depends on the next stage, you know, who does the work, basically. You know, we do that type of work, but just not sure.
Yeah, so it's state funding, so it'll, as you well know, things have to go out to bid. And so Watershed Consulting is one of our go-to contractors. So we work with them, and once a contractor has started a project, in many cases, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to switch contractors midstream. So we try to be as consistent as possible unless there's something that causes us to switch or a different set of skills that are required for a project or those kind of things. Obviously, the contracting of the construction goes to a construction company.
Yeah, but you guys would also help us in the administration of that project.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, that's fine.
So River Valleys wouldn't be like, if we move forward with this, if we decide tonight to go forward, and because with the design and, you know, looking at the plans and all of that, the entire project throughout the duration, as we go through this 30%, the 60%, the 90% in implementation, there is going to be somebody, you know, whatever office, whatever team is going to be with us through the entire process. And it won't be like River Valley's just like left out in a lurch, like to do this project. Like it's you are committed to partnering.
Absolutely. And it will likely be either, as I said, the conservation district or a watershed partner. And because they're the ones who are willing to do the grant writing, the administration, and then hire the level of consultant like Carrie to do the contracting work. So they will administer the grant, we'll have meetings periodically so everybody's in the loop, everybody looks at everything and signs off and says, yes, we're ready to move to the next step. And you are obviously in a key part of that. It's your project. But we will do all the administrative work for it to keep it moving.
Okay, thank you. And so to recap it for the board, there is something that's coming down the pipeline for the year 2038, in which that, like, after that point in time, if we added to our land, if we added, a shed, more parking, if we expanded the basketball courts, anything that we're adding from permeable surfaces, we may have to do a project like this in the future if we did not move forward with this one now. Okay. I'm acting as chair right now, so if the board would like to take action, I would need a board member to make a movement. What?
Hey, sorry to interrupt. And I just would like the board to know too, like, my recommendation is that we go forward with this as well. I think that we should. I think that you have, in the long term, it makes sense for River Valleys to take this step to have this in place. You are so close to 3 acres. I think it was like 2.95. And and we're actually dealing with this at Leland and Gray, where their permit needs to be done, and they're kind of on the hook themselves. So even the design, getting this design done is well worth the effort and the time. So that definitely be my recommendation.
Thank you, Greg.
I'm glad to stay on or get off and let you guys vote in private.
Thank you.
Well, I'll make a motion.
Okay, go ahead, Dwight.
I'll do my best here. I'd like to make a motion that we approve the proposal from the consulting for the designs for our what's the help me out here?
Water runoff.
Water runoff. Thank you.
You got it.
Need a little help there, but how's that?
That was great, I think.
We'll have Meredith read it back to us.
Okay, hold on. Dwight made a motion to approve the proposal from Watershed Consulting for design for the stormwater runoff project.
Does that sound?
Are we good with that? Yeah?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, is there a second to that motion?
I'll second it.
Thanks, Eli. All right, Dwight has made a motion. Eli had seconded. We will do a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Do some discussion first, Pete.
Oh, sorry, Dwight. Thank you. Yes. Any discussion, Dwight?
No.
Would you like this?
I don't. I just would appreciate Greg. I was going to ask him that same question, but he answered it before I even asked it. So it's nice to have him on board. So thank you, Greg.
Are the solar panels considered part of the impervious area? They are?
The solar panels themselves are not, but the access road and any parking are considered impervious.
School property?
What's the problem you see with that?
What's the problem? Well, we don't really use all of it, because could you sublease that part to the town? How does that work? To break it up? To get us more room? Is that a pain? Sorry.
Unfortunately, with this state, it's related to the full property. So even if it's subdivided,
I'm hesitant because letting the state in is like letting the fox in the hen house. Like I've been burnt on wetlands so much and I don't like it. So I'm nervous. Just when they mark that, it's not just for our, like, I've seen them come in with GPS and everything has to be put to natural within 50 feet. So I would just like to you don't need it. Maybe take a building down.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I mean, I hear what you're saying. I've done some of these projects, and I certainly, when you bring an engineer into a project, they're going to find something they don't want you to
they
do.
can mess up.
I get it. You know, everyone that I've worked with has done the same thing, and I've done stormwater.
I understand it's a value, but
yeah.
I wonder if.
But they are expensive, and I think not knowing is not always the best way.
I'd love to put grass seed on the dang trail up to the solar panels. You know, make that work.
Yeah.
But I get it. It's a value. I don't want to doubt Greg at all, but I'm just nervous. Nervous.
I can respect that, Mike. I'm with you 100%. Actually, we had to take 2 sheds down at Leland and Gray because of the same thing. They came in just to renew our permit and said, hey, those weren't part of your permit.
Yeah.
And one of them was the bike shed that had been up for, I don't know, 15 years. And I was like, well, how many times has the permit been renewed? We renewed it every other time, but now.
And then to have it in the center median is what I heard it was. I wasn't at the last meeting, so I just want to say that. But if we could pipe it down, that'd be cool.
I don't think we talked about location.
Oh,
Did we?
I believe it's out front, right smack dab in the middle, pulling our nice trees.
That's what they
But
said.
I'm not positive.
No, we've talked a lot about where the location is. We've talked a lot about how the fruit trees that previous classes have donated are important. We've talked about all of these different features.
Okay.
So I know there's a lot of concerns on some of
But
those.
I guess if we're just looking at a plan, I'd love to look at a plan. Like, we're obviously not committing to gung-ho construction.
This is just for the plan.
Correct. We're just committing to getting into relationship with these folks to have the design created. There's, as you know, right, there's a bunch of different ways we can go. I think they were talking about kind of having that area where, I think in the woods there right above the baseball field, kind of having that become like a grassy area that will help absorb, and we'd have to mow it. Yeah. Maybe have a catch basin or something that you got to clean out once every X number of years. We'll see. Hopefully, no, it seems like from what we could tell, the area in the front is where the leach field used to be, but then we were able to connect to the town.
Yeah.
So we're okay there. When we met with them, and we just were kind of looking at some quick overview plans, and so that's kind of what they were thinking, was just kind of diverting off kind of up above the baseball field there, and then putting in like a grassland type garden type thing. So we would try to do it as least intrusive without having tanks or pump system, you know what I mean, as much as we can, right? I mean, as much as we can create ourselves to do it naturally without having to, we're not trying to operate a water treatment facility.
Thank you.
Okay, any other discussion items? Okay, are we ready to move forward with a vote?
Yep.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, I didn't hear any dissension, but
Yeah.
I'm remote, so I wanted to just check in.
You're asking for any nays?
Oh, yes. Thank you, Dwight. Any nays?
Yes, for an abstention.
And any abstentions? Okay. It looks like the majority has it. We will move forward. So we are authorizing Greg to move forward, working with this group on proposals for the watershed. And then we're going to invite Rich back as chair and move on to the next agenda item. And thank you very much, Marie and Carrie, for joining us and taking our questions and all of the emails that we've had back and forth too. We appreciate that.
Of course,
Thanks for your
thank you. We'll be in touch.
Thank you.
Good night.
Bye.
And
Don't
thank you,
forget to
Greg,
thank
for
Greg.
coming and sharing your knowledge as well. We appreciate that. All right.
Thanks, Greg.
Turn it back, by the way. It's not who I thought it was.
So we have somebody, Rebecca, on. Can you please tell us who you are for minutes, Rebecca, please? You're muted, Rebecca.
Oh, sorry. I guess I'm from the town. But if I'm I'm not supposed to be here. I haven't really been
Oh,
listening.
no, you can be here. We just didn't know what your last name was because we just have to record who's here.
Oh, Miller. I work at Wardsboro.
Okay, well, thank you, Rebecca. Do you have any comments as public?
No, I
Okay.
don't. Thank you.
Yeah, we just, on the minutes, it has all those that were participating. That was the only reason. We just need to know who you were. So thank you.
Understood.
No, that's fine. I see Heather Sullivan has joined us since we did members of the public, I believe. Heather, is that public or?
Yeah.
Oh, nobody. Heather Sullivan, did you have any comments under public or just visiting?
It's *6 to get off mute if anybody needs that reminder. Because I know when you're on a mobile device, it can be tricky to know that part.
Wicked tricky.
Gets me every time.
Okay. And then Patrick
The mobile device.
LaGrange, do you have anything for public?
No, I don't. Thanks for asking, Rich.
Okay, then Heather Sullivan is not unmuted? Yes, no? Okay, gonna move right along. I think we've covered all the old business. So why don't we move on to new business, the superintendent's update.
Yeah, so you had my cabinet report last time, so I'll just give you a couple quick things. Wednesday night, the SU board is meeting. They'll be looking at budget, 7 p.m. Zoom and at Leland Gray, and adopting core policies.
What time?
7 o'clock.
Thank you.
So
Is it at Dutton or is it in that's upper room?
It's in that upper room, yeah.
Kate, are you gonna be able to make that?
Yes, I will be there.
You gonna make it?
Well,
You'll be Zoom, okay.
And then the only other thing just to mention is that we're going to have a new HR coordinator as of December 1st, central office. So
Did Tracy say yay?
I did.
I wasn't sure if it was on TV or you.
December 1st?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
December 1st?
December 1st. Yep.
Monday, December 1st, right after Thanksgiving weekend.
Yeah, you got it.
Football and Turkey Day.
Oh, I'll just share this. It's public now. It will be shortly. None other than Tammy Bates. We rejoined the teaching field. She will be taking a fourth grade position at Towson.
Oh, really?
There's a departure mid-year, and the AOE was requiring in person.
Yeah.
And there was a bit of a ride from Wardsboro, so she is
Not only is AOE, it's all state.
All the state.
So she decided that she would prefer to move back into teaching.
Can't
so
get her out of Wardsboro.
We're very happy to have her back in the SU.
That is
So,
exciting.
yeah, that's great.
Exciting.
Yep. And Townsend is obviously very happy. So.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Okay, you all
That's all I
set?
got.
Thanks for sharing that. Bob.
You wanna give us talk a little about your budget?
The SU budget?
Yeah.
I mean, I can give you a couple
20
quick
seconds.
talking points. Yeah. So the executive committee met last week, and or maybe it was 2 weeks ago now, and it was 2 weeks ago, I guess. And Heidi and I came to the executive committee with a proposal. Some of you guys know this, but some of you may not. But the SU budget is really 4 budgets, and it's been that way for a number of years for a variety of different reasons. I'm not going to go into all the details, but in short, it doesn't really need to be anymore. And so we were proposing that we merge the 4 into 2. The fee-for-service budget, which was used for staff that were shared between districts, we're just going to do as direct billbacks to districts instead, or have separate contracts like we've done in some cases. And the ECSC, which is Early Childhood Special Ed budget, will be blended with the rest of special ed in the MTSS budget. So there'll be a general fund budget, which is what used to basically be the supers budget, and there'll be the MTSS budget. The other thing that we did to help make it cleaner and easier to look at is in the past, we had things, this had to do with the special ed reimbursement model from years ago. We had things like the HR coordinator was partly paid through special ed because they did HR for special ed people. And so because you had a reimbursement model, we put part of their salary in special ed. We did this all over the place. And it meant, what it led to is like this convoluted thing where you know, 3/10 of a person is over here and 7/10 is in all these different budgets, and you got grants, and it was really confusing. So the business office will all be moved into the general fund budget, and special educators, service providers, and AST teachers will remain in the MTSS budget. So we're trying to clean it up that way. So through that process, there are some minor increases, I would say, based on the merging of the two budgets, or the four budgets into two, and the moving of staff around. And that would lead normally to small increases in the assessment. However, this is sort of the left hook that you don't see coming, or maybe you have seen coming, is that the revenue from grants is way down. And so the actual increase to the assessments is pretty high. So we'll be reviewing that, but there'll be two different assessments for the general fund and for the MTSS fund. And so those will be shared for each district, see how everybody's paying, who's going up, who's going down, nobody's going down. And then get a sense of what that looks like that'll be Wednesday night. So, and if the SU board approves it that night, then you guys will have firm numbers for your assessment. If they don't, they'll have another meeting the Wednesday after Thanksgiving to take another crack at it. So that's where we are.
Cool. Anybody questions for the superintendent? We can have a new contest, dump the superintendent. If you ask him a question he can't answer and gets befuddled, we'll get you cookies at the next meeting. No? Okay, tried.
I look confused enough already, apparently.
Sorry, Bob. Francesca, you want to do your principals update?
Sure. Let's see, last week started off with the whole school going to Leland and Great to watch their dress rehearsal of Aladdin. There were two other schools there. The kids loved it. I think we have some potential actors and actresses in our midst now. Today, Renee came over to Wardsboro and we did our first learning walk in all the classrooms looking at some EL components. That was super interesting and nice to have another person to collaborate with in that process. And we have two sixth graders when we get back from break going to present to the Rotary Club to just highlight the Wonderly Circus that Wardsboro's been doing for a number of years and how much it's enjoyed and valued at the building. And then the last thing, after break, we are jumping into our new STEAM project called Art Electric. I think we talked about it a little bit last time. We're ramping up the skills of coding, electronics, and working with light and sound. So that should be really interesting, and we'll have a culminating event probably mid-winter, early spring to show off their work. And I think that's it.
Any questions for Francesca?
Oh, thank you.
Seeing none, a lot of head shaking no, very good. Tracy.
So this week, thanks to the Dover School Club, we had Andy Davis here to sing and dance with the kids for 2 days. He's going to come back again in the spring, and we're going to do another 2 days with kids, and then have families come in, and we're going to do a big, huge contra dance like we did last time. It was quite fun.
Are you a contra dancer?
I didn't think I was, but he told me I was quite good. I'm just saying. I can do a mean line dance.
That's line dance, right? I've seen those.
Yeah, it's quite good. I like that.
That's at the Dover Town Hall in Wardsboro, Stratton Town Hall.
Yeah.
I had my learning walks with Renee last week. Also, like Francesca, it was super nice just to be able to have someone walk around with and collaborate with, and just to bounce ideas off of. We had similar ideas, which was really great. I talked with our EL coached today. I had a quick Zoom with her, and we have a school-wide goal, and teachers are going to set up their own individual goals with our coach. So I just love that we have these tools that we can use to help the teachers be the best that they can be, to do what's best for kids. We also got 2 brand new interactive TVs, and so now all of my classroom, well, not all but one of my classrooms have interactive TVs, which is essential for EL Ed because they have so many interactive tools that teachers can use to be able to give kids what they need, and it's just so fun. I went and used one in kindergarten, and I was I was teaching them how to write the letter H, and it was just fun to write on. It was the best thing ever. So there was that, and so I don't know if many folks know this, and she'll probably kill me for saying something, but Patsy Bemis fell, and she's in the hospital, and so she won't be with us for quite some time. I do have someone that's going to take over the library work for her, but just make sure that everybody's sending her good thoughts and vibes, because she is.
That must have been over the weekend.
Yeah, she's a tough cookie, but she's going to be in the hospital for probably the week, and then she's got a ton of rehab to do. She sounded pretty sad. So we're gonna do a meal train for her. I'll share it if anybody else wants to hop on with us, just because she's pretty immobile and sad. But that is it for Dover.
Well, you should have started with that, and you should have ended with a more upbeat, because now you look very sad.
I'll end it with dancing next time. Yes.
Okay, so we're not going to allow you to try to stump Tracy tonight. We're going to give her a break because she looks sad. So, but we can stump Francesca if anybody wants to. Okay. Any questions for Tracy? Then, if our principal's reports are done, we go to the really fun thing. We get to spend lots and lots of money.
Oh.
So we have to approve pay order number 27. If somebody'd like to talk about that.
I would like to make a motion to approve pay warrant number 27 in the amount of $388,636.83.
Wow, that was quick. Meredith seconded Kate's motion to approve pay warrant 27 in the amount of $388,636.83. Is there any discussion? Anybody know what we bought?
Stuff. A lot of stuff.
Nobody, Tracy, nobody listened to you. 2 interactive TVs, huh?
All right, the TV, of course.
Easy. That was a stump
That was
to board.
That was a lot of TV.
A lot of TV.
No, was that in that pay warrant? I don't remember seeing
Those
it.
come from IT usually.
Those come from IT. Anyways, but we did do the copier contracts. I know that was in it. No discussion. All those in favor say aye.
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 Appears to be unanimous decision in the affirmative. It is. I have no other new business. We all good? I see nothing else in my packet. Consent agenda, minutes of the 11/3/2025 minutes to approve. I think I saw nothing. Nobody has any issues with them or any comments. Then we will approve them by unanimous consent. And I have no correspondence. I don't think, Bob, there was anything. Francesca, you had nothing?
I don't know who did the timing on this agenda, but they were freaking
Nailed it, huh?
Okay.
No, 20.
It's only because I screwed up with the attorney earlier.
Yeah, but take the attorney off.
Take the attorney out. There's plenty of time left.
But anyways, so we will, looking for that most important motion that's always made at every meeting. And it needs a second, but it's not debatable and there's no discussion. It just goes right to a vote.
Motion to adjourn?
Oh, you got it. Is there a second?
Second.
Oh, let's give it to Meredith. She's typing.
For sure.
Okay, so we get a motion to adjourn and seconded at 7:20 something. All those in favor say aye.
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 Appears to be unanimous decision in the affirmative. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
We'll see you in a couple weeks, I think.
Yeah.
2 weeks.
I
2
think
weeks.